Hello everyone, welcome back to Goosebumps. My name is Dario, and this is going to be the final part of this series. I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover in this series, including little secrets, little unknown things, stuff you had to look up a guide to do. And all that's left to do actually is to complete one last achievement, which is to beat the game within a certain amount of turns. Turns in this case meaning, I think it's moving from screen to screen. So here we're choosing the boy, naming him FU, trying to be funny. And essentially this whole part's just going to be a speed run essentially. And I originally recorded dialogue as I did it. And all in all, it only took me about like 30 minutes. I'm putting a timer up in the corner, well, a makeshift timer, and it's going to record my progress because I sped it up times two because, I really don't need to sit through 30 minutes, nor do I have 30 minutes worth of dialogue to talk about this. So this game is actually, it was more fun to speedrun than I thought because it has the fun of just like like things that you shouldn't know, like, and we'll get to that in some later parts, but it's just funny when you think about it because it's like this kid like got out of school today and was just like, knew something was wrong and just like brushed his way through it. It's pretty funny, like, and games have those kind of moments where obviously things you shouldn't at this point. But as I was saying, I recorded dialogue, and because I sped it up, obviously I have to re-record it now, which I don't mind at all. Some of my dialogue was actually pretty good, but a lot of it was just me narrating what I'm doing because I was trying to remember like what order to do things and how to do it. So, and not to mention, this part was actually recorded before the previous two parts that I uploaded. So this was recorded before the second fight with Slappy, getting the haunted mask and other stuff. I rearranged it after I realized it makes more sense to show everything off in the game and then do a speed run of it, like after we know everything. So there's really no point to narrate what's going on. I mean, if you watch the playthrough, which maybe you didn't, but if you watch the playthrough, you'll see what's going on. In case you don't know, in case this is like the first video of someone watching, this is a point and click game. The idea is to poke around and look at things, search things, interact with things to figure out what to do next. There is actually, there might be I didn't actually look up speedruns on YouTube, but there is a guide on how to do this game and get the achievement for it. The achievement, How I Learned to Fly, which is beating the game in 125 turns or less. Very hard to do, and to be completely honest, I don't actually get it in this playthrough because there was some parts I forgot. Like, you saw me stumbling about just now, like, oh, what do I do? Thankfully, it's not based on the in-game time. It's based on the turns. So it's very forgiving in that sense. But I was going fast because I was being recorded. So, yeah, in hindsight, maybe actually probably just would have been better just to re-record everything. But I don't got time for that. But it also gave me a chance because I wanted to talk about this game more in depth, I guess. And I think I kind of waited too long because I had so much I wanted to say about it, and now nothing's coming to mind. But more or less, I was coming along the lines of I just really wanted to commend this game. I think the 3DS version when it first came out was about $30, but other than that, I want to say it might have been cheaper, like digitally or like elsewhere on other consoles. Because I mean, if it was $30, I don't know, it's kind of a little too expensive, actually. But I mean, I got this game for $250 off of Steam. I'd say it was very much worth it at that price. It's very reminiscent of, because there were a few Goosebumps games in the past made for the computer, and there were also point and click adventures. And I'm really glad WayForward stuck with that concept because it really does suit Goosebumps. And I know there was like Goosebumps Horrorland and stuff made for the Wii and whatever, but the way they did this, they really did a good job. They stayed true to the movie. They helped tie it in well, and then they also stayed true to fans of the books because they have a lot of stuff that ties in. In fact, after I recorded pretty much all the parts of this playthrough in bulk, And after doing that, I actually was going back, and I think I spent the rest of that night just like looking up Goosebumps books. I had a majority of them. I still do actually, somewhere in my closet or garage. And it inspired me to kind of just go back and read like, oh yeah, what was this story? What was that story? Oh yeah, I remember this one. Like, and it just really made me appreciate Goosebumps. And I was looking at some of the because the series is still going on, um, still popular amongst children, and it's good to see that they're still being written and kids still enjoy them because uh, I mean, I don't think the newer books seem as good, but I mean, that's debatable. It's up to, you know, each to their own, right? And I quickly just want to mention this is probably one of the worst parts of the game is like this part. Like they actually, I'm so glad I'm speeding this up. I was originally going to cut it out, but yeah, they actually want you to sit there and develop this photograph, like the old fashioned way. You know, it's cool, but as I stated, like it would have been better if they just made it 10 seconds or maybe just make it like, oh, for the first part you have to do 12 seconds and the next you have to do 7 and yada yada. You get it. But no, it's a minute each. And I figured out how to do this in my playthrough by just dumb luck. I like just put paper there and I was like on or not Tumblr. Oh God, no, I wasn't on that. I was just on Twitter, just like looking at stuff. Then after a bit, I pulled it. I took it out of the stuff, and it was like, oh, okay. So then I saved it, tried it again, and it all came about to about a minute each. If you leave it in, I think if you leave it in over a minute 30 or 2 minutes, like it will say the photo was ruined. So it's kind of specific, but yeah, this is man. Even sped up, this is taking a while, man. Yeah, definitely one of the dumbest parts of the game. I don't care if the computer does tell you what to do. Um, and that's it's this part like it's a part like this and then a few other cryptic parts that kind of made me wonder like how like a kid playing this on the 3DS, like, you know, they go to the Target and they see Goosebumps, they're like, oh, I love Goosebumps, they buy it. Like it's a good game to teach them how to do stuff, to play these kind of games, because you really don't see point and click games anymore. uh I mean, Telltale Games kind of does, but I'm talking about traditional ones. But um, I don't know. I feel like they could have made it a little bit easier for kids, or maybe added a difficulty mode or something. I don't know. Uh, Otherwise, because the thing about games nowadays is that if you make games too hard, then you know kids aren't. They'll just drop it and not play it. Um, so I don't know. I'm just ranting about that. Trying to kill time between this damn photo section. I'm speeding it up times 2 and it's still going pretty slow. But otherwise, we're doing pretty good on time. Like in real time of recording, it's only been 15 minutes, and surprisingly, the house takes the longest part of the game. The mall is actually the place where it has a lot of temporary, not temporary, optional stuff you can do. Even though the mall is actually the coolest part of the game, in my opinion. Haunted houses are cool. I like the haunted houses, but they kind of get overdone, especially at this point. So seeing kind of like an abandoned mall, not just being overrun by zombies, I thought was really nice. I think it helps too that like lately on YouTube, and I think a lot of people are catching more onto it. There's people that go out to explore abandoned malls, and like I don't know, just the concept of so cool. Just seeing something that was once so vibrant and full of people just empty and desolate. And even not like abandoned malls, just imagine like a mall that's closed and like the security guards walking around, like that would be really creepy, like I would think. Same thing with like movie theaters or well, I mean, not really much libraries are kind of desolate, unfortunately, but anyways. Yeah, other than that, yeah, I was going back and looking at the Goosebumps books, and yeah, I really do like what they're doing with them. I like that kids still are reading them, because you know, nowadays how do I explain this? You know, it does feel like kids and just everyone in general is exposed to more, I don't want to say adult, mature things. You know, like the Saw movies, or just a lot of movies in general. Like they talk, like even like It. Like at the time of this release, It came out like about a month ago, 2017 one, and you know that movie has like 12, 13-year-old kids in it, and it has them getting like brutally murdered by like a clown and stuff like that, like a supernatural force. Like it makes sense, from the movie's perspective, but I don't know. There's becoming a bigger divide between having like innocent childlike kind of movies and mature gritty type of movies. And I think there should always be kind of movies for kids, because even I mean everyone was a kid at some point, and I was a kid obviously at one point. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes as kids you don't always think innocent thoughts, you don't always do innocent things or read innocent things or watch innocent things, but it's because you're a kid, it's best to hold on to like that childlike wonder, like even if you are having like because even going into puberty and stuff like that, like I mean you have thoughts, you have I'm not going to go into it. The point is that despite having these kind of thoughts and ideas that aren't really technically kiddish, if that makes sense. I'm making this sound so much worse than it is. I promise you I'm not, but the point I'm trying to get at is that it's good to still have media or books or things like that are more innocent, because it's something you can't ever go back to. Like once you get older, once you're in your 20s and 30s, you can't ever get back to it. I know like a lot of people now, millennials and stuff like that, they do try to they always try to relive that wonder. You have like a lot of adults that go see kids movies nowadays. Remember, like I don't know if anyone knows when Frozen came out in theaters, that thing was packed full of adults going to see it than like actual kids. I mean, obviously kids loved it, but there was still a bunch of adults doing it, going to see it. Zootopia. I know a bunch of people who like are in love with like Disney stuff, like their childhood and stuff like that, and they're like in their mid-20s, 30s. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be. Like I'm not saying that's a problem or anything, but I feel like it's only okay if kids are into it. Star Wars is another good example of how they're trying to gear Star Wars towards kids. They have the toys, the coloring books, all that's young stuff, for young children and young adults. But the only people buying those things are like adults. I forgot what it was. There was something I was just reading on the news the other day, and not that it matters at this point of recording, but it was. Oh no! It was just it wasn't Star Wars. It was Harry Potter. Someone built like a Harry Potter like Diagon Alley replica in their like driveway, like as a little haunted house type of thing. And he said, "Yeah, I'm getting a lot of people coming to come see this from like all around the county and cities over and stuff like that. A lot of them are adults, but I'm getting some kids too." And it was just one of those things where it's just like, you get what I'm saying? Like I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I think the point's getting clear in the sense that, when you have more adults interested in things meant for kids, it's weird and it just doesn't feel right. It like messes with the status quo, because then like, I don't know, kids are going to start liking more mature things, and it's just like a total imbalance. I don't know. That's just what I see on the internet. I know the internet isn't like fully representative of the population, thank God. But, and now we're completely off the topic of Goosebumps, but, to tie it all back together, yeah, I'm glad Goosebumps is still around. I hope it does stay around. Because, R.L. Stine is getting up there. You can't write these forever. I'm sure he's had some ghostwriters, writing under his name. Actually, it's been confirmed that that's happened on some books, but I hope whoever takes the mantle or whatever keeps happening, or whatever further happens with it, I hope they stick to it, because children need that. Children need that innocent outlet for being scared and stuff like that. And something I want to mention here is that normally you're supposed to go through this whole process to try to figure out the combination to open the door, but I already knew it, so I just completely bypassed the abandoned mall. And to finish talking about this game, wow, this thing didn't turn out as well as I wanted to. But yeah, I called R.L. Stine and did everything like from right here, so it's really cool it's really funny just how you're able to skip so much once you know what to do. But last few things I wanted to say about this game: I love the art for this game. They really knocked it out of the park. Each scene, each thing is like so beautiful to look like. They're just like from the covers of the Goosebumps books. The music is top notch as well, foreboding and ominous and spooky and all this kind of other stuff. The only other thing I would say about this game is that I dislike is that it's a little too cryptic, a little too short. I kind of wish it had like more achievements or more side things to do. And yeah, 29 minutes, we did it. Unfortunately, we didn't get the final achievement, How I Learned to Fly, but you know, I got one of the speedrun achievements, and the whole point of this was just to show that you could speedrun this pretty easily and have fun with it. And also, it was for me to get a chance to talk about this game, how much I enjoyed it, what I didn't like, and also get off topic. But anyways, I really had fun with this playthrough. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for what else I have in store. Take care.